everyone, this is Candace. Welcome back to day 72 of my 100-day health challenge. All right, this is literally, I think, number 11 video that I have tried to start and have not successfully filmed. I am so out of sorts today. My brain is literally trying to get me to go to sleep right now. I have been sick today, and so this is going to be a super short check-in. I do want to share a recipe I did today because I did successfully do a smoothie today, partly to boost my immune system, but also because that was one of my big goals, and it sat really well on my stomach. But I just want to tell you right now that my brain is a little fuzzy. I am not feeling well. I am still sick and I still have a fever, and I don't know that it's 100% like that I have caught something, although there's been lots of things going around the school. That's why I'm iffy about it. There's been different things like strep throat and sinus infections and stuff like that. So I am hesitant that I could have caught something. I'm hoping it's just the detoxification that I've gone through or that I am going through, because I've heard a lot of friends and family say that it feels like flu-like symptoms. And I've done some research, and there are some articles that I've read that say that certain detoxification things can feel like flu, or they can have flu-like symptoms. And so I don't know if that's 100% true for everybody all the time. I'm still, learning those things and doing research, but I do know that every time I detoxify, which my system has trouble doing sometimes when it gets overloaded. And so that's why I've been taking supplements and doing some different oil stuff to help with that. From as I've gone into my appointment and done it, it's not just all on my own, although I do know how to do some of that stuff from experience. But that all to say that I did want to check in anyways, but my brain is all over the place and I am sick. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet, but I am going to share my recipe too. So quick check-in for today. I am still not weighing myself in every day, but I will weigh in on day 75 because I have my updated goal for day 75. My goal from day 50 to day 75 was to lose 4 to 5 pounds, bringing it to a cumulative total 75-day loss of, 12 to 15. Sorry, that took me a minute to actually even calculate that. That's sad because I had it right in front of me. Anyways, and I can do that math. Oh man. So yes, day 50 to day 75 total, bringing me up to a 75-day loss of 12 to 15 pounds. So I'll weigh in on day 75 and see. Right now I'm keeping it mostly though to weekly check-ins now, just to take that pressure off, and mostly because I'm curious to see if that was either a 1-week fluke or if 2 weeks actually keeps that consistent, like that it's helping to not weigh in every day. So far, the lack of stress from it is certainly helping, that I didn't even realize I had stress from. So anyways, that's what I'm doing. Supplements went great today. Fortunately, I'm not nauseous, so I was able to easily do supplements. And yes, I'm stopped up and everything, and my throat was sore, but I was able to still take my supplements. I've done a lot of soup today, just to mostly for breakfast and dinner. I couldn't really stomach much for breakfast, and I didn't feel like making a smoothie for breakfast, so I actually had soup for breakfast and then soup for dinner. Just keeping it simple, keeping it easy going, trying to hydrate, take it easy on myself. But I did successfully make a smoothie for lunch when I was feeling a little bit better, and hopefully I'll be able to do it again tomorrow, but I will share that recipe with you. It actually turned out so good. So let me tell you, before I start about the smoothie, so supplements were really good. The stress and the sleep have been really good. Stress management. So I had some stress, but I feel like the stress management went really well. I was able to just rest and take it easy today overall and not have to worry about it too much. It's probably a blessing we had a late start today because of the snow, because it put us on a half-day schedule. So if I had to miss a day today and tomorrow, they're both shorter days. And so I hate missing, especially since I've missed some this semester already because of sickness. But, what can you do? You can't always control that. It's not like I went around asking to be sick, or went and picked up things to get sick. So it's one of those things that I have to remind myself, I hate it and I don't want to lose a job over it, which I'm not going to, but it's I can't control that. So especially when I'm dealing with some chronic health issues and lowered immune system and trying to improve my health. So anyways, that was I had to remind myself today, it's okay. It's not your fault. I want to blame myself sometimes, and that's something I'm still working on, it's not my fault that I'm sick. And I'm doing everything I can to boost my immune system and fix those issues. And it's a process. So anyways, that was that. But I did get good sleep last night. I did rest well, even if I wasn't feeling the greatest today, obviously. But fortunately, I was able to sleep. I did have to do some soft gels, Serenity soft gels, to kind of rest and relax. And so I could sleep some, and I did some like breathing things to keep my self kind of like airways supported and open while I was sleeping. That always helps me. And did some peppermint, because that always kind of makes me feel just so much more clear and open. And so I did those for just out of past experience, and just to support all the breathing and the respiratory stuff. And I definitely had some On Guard chewables and things today, and upped my immune supplements, and some the PB Assist pre and probiotics. So for my smoothie for nutrition, okay, so I absolutely loved the smoothie I made today. I was not sure how it was going to turn out. One, because I was not feeling well, but two, I have not made a smoothie in so long, and I had no idea if what I had on hand was going to make a good smoothie. I figured it would make a decent smoothie, but I had a feeling like, I just, you never know, because even though I've used all this stuff before, it's been a while. And also just, you never know how the ratios are going to work out, because I literally just eyeballed everything pretty much. Like, I just grabbed a bunch of ingredients from the fridge in the pantry and was like, here, we're just going to make a smoothie. And it did turn out more, it's still actually poured like a smoothie, but it was definitely thick. But I actually enjoyed it, because I actually finished the last few bites with a spoon. But I could actually tip it and have it come out, I guess, as a smoothie. So that was the nice thing. But so let me just tell you a little bit about my smoothie. I absolutely loved it. I know I've said that a million times now. It was so good. It was so delicious. I wasn't sure so I have used this protein. So I'll show you in a minute. But I have used this protein and greens powder before. So this is not the first time I've used them. And I actually tried them before I even bought them. So I tried samples of smoothies made from these. And I liked them. And I could taste a little bit of the artificial, like, they're healthy, but they're sugar-free. So they have alternative stuff in them. So I was a little nervous at first. But I actually, if they're done the right way, I enjoy them. And I know some people could care less, like they don't mind the taste at all. I am pretty sensitive to alternative sweeteners or flavorings. Now, they're healthy and they're natural, so don't get me wrong. They're fine. They're good. They're not bad stuff. I know some are debatable, just because people always debate on what stuff is actually good or not. And I know... And I still stick with the as close to natural as possible is great. But sometimes when you're just starting out and you're just trying to make healthy changes, like, you need some support and you need to be getting the nutrition. So yeah, whole foods are the best, as natural and as raw as possible. I'm not even gonna say raw, but you know what I mean. Like, as close to the earth as possible, as close to the way they're intended to be eaten is great. But sometimes you don't have that option. And so, and in fact, a lot of times when you're starting out, just to get into the habit of eating healthier, you just need to do this. And that is also why I kind of just eyeballed the carbohydrates and the proteins. I definitely wanted to make sure I had enough proteins and that I didn't have too many carbs, but I wasn't going to get onto myself of being just so, because I want to, the biggest thing I want to be doing is making sure I'm eating healthier. So if there was a little bit of over carbs, if there was carbs over 30, which remember my goal is no more than 30 carbohydrates per meal, then I did go a little over that. But I also balanced that out with what I had for breakfast and dinner. So it was okay ultimately. But also the biggest goal, remember, like I said, my goal wasn't necessarily calories or carbs. Definitely I wanted to get enough protein, but my ultimate goal is to be just getting into the habit of eating healthier. And if that was going to be a detriment to count every single carb and try to get it just at 30, I would have given up and not even made the stupid thing. So, like, let's be honest. I probably would not have made, especially because I'm feeling sick. Like, maybe if I was feeling better, I would have felt the energy for that. But, like, especially being sick, I was like, I'm hungry, I'm cranky, I'm tired, I need something. I have enough energy to make this stupid thing. I am not going to sit here and try to figure out how to have 30 carbs instead of 40 when it's not that much of a difference. So especially since my breakfast was not that bad. And so I had some leeway. So pick and choose your battles, right? What are you going to actually focus on? What's the hill you're going to die on? Like, I am not going to die on the 40 versus 30 carbs. and then just not even go and make a smoothie, just give up. I'm going to want to make the smoothie and sacrifice some extra carbs in order to be eating healthier overall. Like, that's better than going and grabbing like a handful of something that I know I shouldn't be eating, right? So anyways, that was all to say. I balanced it out with flavors. I tried my best to pick things that I liked that were around. I didn't have to get anything extra, which one I couldn't have gotten anyways because of the weather and because I was sick. But I did do the best I could, and it turned out so good. Now, I know not everyone's tastes are the same, but I think that I balanced it pretty well with what I used. And again, everybody's products that they use are different. So like, you may have different fruit you want to use. You may have different protein stuff you want to use. That's fine. I personally love what I used in all of it. But I think I landed on almost a perfect recipe, in my opinion, especially for the first try. Like, I was kind of surprised it tasted that good. I was determined to drink it anyways, but it was really good. Like, I loved it, actually. So I'm going to make it again. But here's what I used. So I used the doTERRA protein powder. I used the vegan one. So there is a chocolate and there is a vanilla that are made with, that are not vegan. I personally, when I tried samples, I actually really liked the vegan one. I wasn't sure I would. I'm not vegan, but I do try to lean more vegetarian when possible. Just as I'm healing and as my system is healing, it's better to do that more. But I also need to be making sure I have enough protein. So because I still eat poultry and lighter stuff like fish, but I am trying to focus more on veggies and things. But I actually liked the taste better. So if you like it, if you are a vegan, but even if you're not, I would recommend this one. I have had the vanilla and I have had the chocolate, and I like them both as well. So, but I really, really liked the vegan protein powder. I also used the greens this time. So I did not use the fiber, even though I have it. I might use it another time. But that is something I left out of this one. I did just use the greens and the proteins, and I used just the normal. So it's 1 scoop of each. It's the serving size. So I did 1 scoop of the protein powder, 1 scoop of the greens. Then I had 2 bananas that were getting overly ripe. I had been wanting to eat them, and they were actually not quite ready. And then they were almost overnight too ready, so I didn't want to let them go to waste. So I went ahead and used both bananas. So that did add a little extra to the thing, because those are fruits and they're a little bit more heavier in their carbs and sugars, but they're a really good source of potassium too. So I used 2 bananas. They're smaller bananas, but I used 2 bananas. I did not freeze these. I just used them. I kind of broke them up into smaller pieces and just used them as is. Let's see, I used plain Greek yogurt. I love plain Greek yogurt. You can use any kind you want. I used a 5% plain Greek yogurt. And I am blanking on the size of it. I'll put it up here, but it was just a small cup of it. And so I put that in there. I did 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. I did use Smooth. This one's not quite as natural. I do use natural peanut butter. This was sort of that, but not quite. So it was a little bit, I'm kind of trying to just get rid of the rest of it. It's healthy, but it's not as healthy as it could be. So it did have a little extra carbs than if I'd used my other peanut butter. I just didn't want to open the whole new jar yet. So this one's not bad. It's just not the ideal that I would normally use. So it did have a little extra carbs, but I used 2 tablespoons of that. I used a cup of frozen blueberries. Now, here's the thing. I know this does not look like a cup if you look at the picture. It is, though, because it was freezer burned a little bit. It tasted fine. But the chunks of ice, actually, by the time, like when I actually looked at it, because I can tell pretty well, but the actual blueberries made a cup, maybe even a little less than a cup, but it made about a cup of frozen blueberries. But then the ice itself, it was actually almost like adding an extra fourth to a half cup of ice. So if you're going to actually make this, it probably would have been the equivalent of like 1 cup of frozen blueberries and then like a fourth to a half a cup of ice. And you can kind of see that in the picture. That's about how, like, what you would put in. And so then I did, sorry, my camera's moving. But I did, all right, now I'm blanking because I just distracted myself. The protein powder, the greens, the yogurt, the peanut butter, the bananas, the blueberries. I think that was it as that part. What I did add, okay, this is what I did not put in the picture and I meant to. But you can kind of see it, I think, in the blender in a minute. What I did is I took the pictures. I put in a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Yes, I did. I put apple cider vinegar. It's the apple cider vinegar with the mother in it. I did use the Bragg brand, but I mean, you can use whatever you want. There's other good brands too, but I did use Bragg's apple cider vinegar with the mother. So I used a tablespoon of that. And that I think actually is what balanced out the flavor, because I think the blueberries would have made it too sweet. I think the peanut butter would have made it a little too thick. The protein powder and the greens, again, some of those extra flavors, I think it counterbalanced that enough. So it gave it a little bit of a tang. So what it ended up tasting like was it almost tasted like I put a little bit of lemon juice in it. I don't even know how to describe it because I don't want to make it sound so tangy. And maybe if you try it, you won't like it. But I thought it balanced it so perfectly because it wasn't too sweet. It wasn't too tangy. It wasn't too thick. It added some extra liquid. And I just love the benefits and the taste of apple cider vinegar. But ultimately, this did not taste like apple cider vinegar. I'm going to say that. Like, honestly, I know the flavor of apple cider vinegar, and I did not think it tasted like that. Now, I do think that the vinegar and the yogurt, because the yogurt has a little bit of a tang too, but I think between the two of those, not only did it add a good liquid content, but I think it actually balanced the flavors so that it tasted just like this refreshing. It was almost like I'd put in citrus and apples or something into it. And so it had this just really nice citrusy tang with the smooth and the blueberries, and then this nice little just hint of peanut butter, and it was so good. And you couldn't, like, for those of you who don't like protein or green powders, you couldn't taste that, in my opinion. Like, it tasted totally like everything. And it had the good banana flavor too, but it wasn't overpowering. And I think the blueberries added a nice freshness too. So I don't know, you try it, but I loved it. It was so good. And so I thought I hit on the perfect recipe, and it made just a perfect cup. Like, I think I took a picture of it, but I don't remember the exact size of that. I need to measure it out and then I'll let you know, but it made a good, like, perfect serving size of a little thing. And it had, I put the totals on here, I think. Actually, no, I don't know where I put those, but it definitely had over 30 grams of proteins. It was, I think, closer to 40 grams of protein. Well, it was way over that, I think, because the protein powder itself was like 21 grams of protein just for the one scoop. And then I want to say the yogurt was 5 grams of protein, and the peanut butter is like 7 grams of protein or something. So between all of that, it was definitely over 30. I think it was closer to 40. And then the carbs did balance out to about 40 plus. It was not over 50, but I don't think without the bananas. But so it did have extra carbs than what I wanted. But again, the benefit was that I had less carbs for breakfast and dinner, even though it was soup. And so then the smoothie counterbalanced that. And then also, again, my goal is just to ultimately make a smoothie, eat a smoothie, and start getting into that habit again. And it was a very healthy smoothie. So there we go. That was my smoothie recipe. I will share it on here. But yeah, so I hope that just helps a little bit. I would recommend it. It tasted so good. I don't know what ingredients you're going to use, so yours might be different. I just kind of basically looked at what was in my pantry and my freezer, what I needed, what I didn't need, what I needed to use, what I wanted, the flavor I wanted, how I felt. I wanted to add a little bit of stuff for my immune system. So yours might turn out differently, but if you make this one, I thought it was amazing. So I don't know what your tastes are. I personally thought this tasted so good. I could have literally had like another 3 glasses if I'd had that much. It just made the one, but I probably could have had like 4 or 5 of those, which probably better not, because it did have the carbs and the protein in it. But it made it sustained me through lunch all the way to dinner. And in fact, it just it was definitely satiating, and it felt refreshing, and it didn't sit heavy. And so yeah, I would very highly recommend this recipe, or one like it. And like I did, I literally just tossed a bunch of stuff into a smoothie or into a blender and added it, or took it, like basically added as I went. And I could have added more, could have added less. It's up to you how you want to do it. I did do some research, and I have past recipes, but this one basically was just like, what do I have, and what do I need, and what do I want? And then let's just throw it all together. And I mean, yeah, I'm pretty good at doing that because that's how I kind of gauge things anyways. But when I'm cooking, but that was basically like, you could easily just do that. And no, you need some kind of protein. You need some kind of fruit or vegetable. It's great if those are frozen because that adds that real smoothie and cold, refreshing flavor. But if you don't like that, then don't do that. You can add liquid to it. I personally kind of did a mixture of a thicker liquid and a thinner one. I know some people do different kinds of milk, like almond milk, coconut milk, whole milk, whatever you want to do. I liked the yogurt and then the apple cider vinegar. But yeah, it's totally up to you. But I do hope if you like this smoothie, if you make it, I thought it was great. So that, yeah, all that to say, basically I'm being repetitive now. So anyways, that's that. And, I just wanted to share that though. I thought it went really well, and I'm going to try to make another one of those tomorrow, but I am starting to get more stopped up again, and, I am getting really tired. So my brain's starting to get fuzzy again. As you can tell, I'm probably starting to repeat things again. So I'm going to probably go to sleep now. But I wanted to go ahead and check in and let you all know this. And so I hope you have a good night, and I will see you all tomorrow. Oh, yes. And like and subscribe and comment your own recipe if you want, or if you try this recipe, tell me what you think, because I thought it was amazing, but I know not everybody necessarily has the same taste. So, all right. Good night. See you all tomorrow. Bye.